Hello and welcome to this podcast, Little Girls Aren't Taught This. I am your host, Self-Love Lydia, and this is a self-love podcast unlike no other. Within this podcast, we will go into all of the things that we should have been taught as little girls that would have helped us feel empowered, connected, and just unapologetic as we grew into women. I am the queen of deep transformations. I am on a mission to impact women around the world with self-love, and I am here to teach you how to be unapologetic and just step into your power. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Little Girls Aren't Taught This. I don't know why I've decided to start singing when I come on these podcast episodes, but you know what? It just comes out of me and I just follow my intuition, which drops me nicely into this week's podcast episode. So I want to talk about intuition and how that is your biggest superpower that you can use when you are on your journey of self-discovery, your journey of self-love, and to be honest, any journey. You should be listening and paying attention to your intuition because she is there to guide you. So this episode come to me today when I was out on a walk. And I think the reason being is because recently when I took time away on holiday and I decompressed and I took time to come back to myself, oh my days, the guidance I got and the downloads that came from my intuition were so strong. And they were just like smack in the face. Listen to this, Lydia. Please follow it. So you probably heard me talk about it on Instagram, but one morning I was sitting on the beach watching the sun come up. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will know how vibey and delicious that was, just sitting there before the sun came up with a cup of coffee and a journal on the beach. It was just I feel it in my soul thinking about it now. And I was just sitting with myself. I wasn't even journaling. And it was just this voice came to me. And I often describe when I get downloads from my intuition, it is that voice that comes to me. And it was just go back to basics. Nothing more, nothing less, simply that. And this is the thing for me anyway, when I listen to my intuition, often it won't come to me with a strong, it'll come to me in a strong way, but it won't come to me and give me all the answers. Does that make sense? It will pull me and guide me, and it will give me a little download that it's up to me to then ponder about and make moves on. So that was the first download. One of the other downloads was around business again. And one of the other downloads was just go back to self-love. And as soon as I got that download and my intuition was pulling me towards that, I was yeah. Oh my God, it makes so much sense. And then I got super excited again about work. And I've always, I am self-love. I am the queen of self-love is what I self-proclaim to be. But I feel over the past few months, I had a bit of a relationship with self-love and being titled as a self-love coach. There was a lot of, I don't know, just unpacking it and what it meant for me and where I slotted into the industry of self-love and how I wanted to coach it. But anyway, the point being, my intuition has been guiding me so strongly lately, and when I have been listening to it and when I've been following the things that have been coming through for me, I have seen a dramatic shift in my energy and a dramatic shift in the things that I am, the moves that I am now making and how that feels within my body to do that and what that is then bringing into my world as a result of that. So it's all very exciting, all very scary at the same time because it revolves stripping some things back. But this is why I want to talk about intuition, because it really is your biggest superpower. So your intuition is that pull that you feel inside. So it's so funny, isn't it, when we try to describe how it feels, because I think for every person that nudge from your intuition will feel different, but it's just that deep knowing within. I usually feel it stems from my womb. Like for me, when I get a download from my intuition, I get like a sensation, and it feels as if it comes from that place within my body, and it also really sounds like a strong voice that is telling me something or guiding me. So for every single person, it will feel different. And I think how you're connected to yourself and how you're connected to your body will then determine how you get that sense and that connection with your intuition. But it doesn't matter how it shows up for you. The most important thing is you know what it feels like when that intuition and that internal guidance system is coming forward to give you something or pull you in a direction or tell you to come away from something. You understand and you can connect with that feeling. That's the most important thing to understand, because I don't want people to start getting into the thought process of, well, if she feels that, should I feel that? Because that's not what it's about. The other thing that's really important that I want to say is, like, often as women, we are disconnected from our bodies. And I really feel like our intuition is our superpower, but then I also feel like our intuition is dampened. And if we are following our intuition, we often don't have concrete evidence of something, do we? We just have like a knowing, or we just have a feeling. And when we try to articulate that to people, it can often come across like we're crazy, or no one believes us, or no, that's not true, you shouldn't follow that. But actually, it's the biggest gift that we have as women, because we just have this like innate internal guidance that is telling us where we should be going or guiding us on our journey. And I just think it's so beautiful. So that's also the other thing to realize, is that often we can be very disconnected from it, or we don't have a lot of trust in listening to our intuition. So practice it like you would practice going to the gym. Train your intuition and listening to it like you would train your body going to the gym, like you would train your mindset. Feed and nourish your intuition like you would feed and nourish your mind and your emotions. And the way that you can do this is just by noticing when your intuition is coming into play and taking a moment to respect that and listen to that and see if you want to lean into what it's telling you, because you don't always have to, and often we don't, because like I've just said, it can just be a feeling, and it requires us to really step into the guidance that's coming forward. So often the fear will come up and we are like, no, I don't want to listen to that, and we turn our back. And I think intuition can come up massively when it comes to relationships, but those attachment bonds are already there, and we are in love with people, so we just turn a blind eye, don't we? We don't listen when our intuition is coming up and telling us what is good for us. But hey ho, we wouldn't have a journey, would we, if we listened to our intuition every time. So there's just some things I want to go into. They were the two main ones, but what I want to say is, on your journey, why your intuition is your superpower. When you notice your intuition come up, listen to the guidance. Try and come inward for a moment and connect and listen to what is being told. Listen to what is coming up, because often we will spend so much time putting stuff out to the universe, saying that we want to get rid of things, manifesting our dreams, meditating, doing all of the things. And then when the information comes back to us from the universe, when I always think that's like what our intuition is, it's like that guidance, or it's our internal guidance system, but it comes from something much bigger than us. So it's like, when we're putting things out to the universe, that's the universe bringing us the signals back to tell us what direction we need to go in and try to push us towards the things that are going to save us. And let me add, the things that save us in the long run aren't always necessarily the pretty things that save us in the moment. Please take stock of that, because sometimes our intuition will push us towards things that are scary and don't work out and don't feel good and actually cause a lot more pain in the present moment. But in the long run, that's where all the lessons and the blessings are coming in from that decision that was made. So listen to the guidance and listen to what steps are needed. So when you're putting all of your desires out to the world, and when you're asking for all of these manifestations, listen to what's coming up. Like, what steps are you being pulled towards taking? Where are you being guided internally? Like, what things are being shown to you that are going to help you to get the things that you desire? And when you know what those steps are, take action and move. Like, don't sit around and wait. Like, that is another big thing when it comes to intuition. All of the big downloads I have had recently, I have literally made the move as soon as that download has come to me, as soon as that guidance has come to me. I have made the moves that I needed to do, and I have taken action. And that is why I'm just like astounded at how much things have shifted in such a short space of time for me, because I feel so connected again to my mission, my vision, and I feel more connected to myself than I have in quite a few weeks, because I listened and I moved, I took action. The next thing that I want to say is that know that whatever's coming to you is coming to you for a reason. Like, make a connection with your heart and understand that it's not coming to you for the sake of coming to you. It's not coming to you on a whim. Our intuition is our fucking superpower, because it is so in tune with what we need. It is so on the spot. Sometimes it blows my mind, the things that come to me when I need it. So know that it's coming to you for a reason, and that links to what I've just said. You may not see the reason now, but please know that further down the line it will make sense, especially if you're on your self-love journey, because I think one of the things that people fail to realize is there's a lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of heartache when it comes to choosing self-love time and time and time again, because you are turning your back on things that you have done for so long that have given you comfort. You're turning your back on people that are no longer serving you, that you've known deep down in your heart they're not good for you. Or maybe you've not had that awareness and now you're aware of it. You're choosing yourself time and time again. You're letting go. It's a process of shedding to welcome in the newness, to welcome in that new level of love, that new level of expansion, that new level of abundance, that new level of self-worth. Every time we welcome something in, we have to shed and we have to release. So please always know that, because that really helps in that moment when the fear comes up. And I've spoke about this and I've said, fear is normal, but you have to look at it and ask yourself, is fear in the driving seat, or is your intuition and your heart in the driving seat? Like, who has got the control here? Is it the fear, or is it you and your heart and your desires? And that really reframes things, I think, for me personally. When a download comes to me, or when something comes to me from my intuition and it doesn't make sense in that moment, like I think I don't want to do that, or that feels really uncomfortable, or why do I feel that pull towards that, or why do I feel a pull away from that? Like, what is going on? We don't always have to have the answers, but you need to build that trust with your intuition and build that trust with yourself, and know that if it's coming to you, it's coming to you for a fucking reason. The next thing I want to talk about with intuition is, I say this all the time. I say this time and time and time again. And this is really what my work is about. People will mix the self-development tools and focus on the tools. And the same applies for business. You know, you have coaches out there that will only focus on the strategy. You have coaches out there that will only focus on the mindset and the flow and the ease. In the work that I do, it's very important to mix the tools with the mindset and the intuition. So what I mean by that is, it's very important to get up and do your meditation, to move your body, to do the journaling, to manifest, to have a vision board. It's very important to do all of these things, but you know what's more important? Integrating the embodiment and the trust And within that is the trust within your intuition. It's very important not just to rely on all the answers coming through in a meditation or coming through in a journaling session. It's also very important to, when you're having these moments as you're going about your day and your intuition is coming in and giving you a nudge and giving you guidance and giving you direction, it's very, very, very important to tap into that as well, especially on your self-love journey, because your intuition is such a beacon to the universe of self-love and self-worth. And I've said this in my last podcast episode, haven't I? I think it was the last one or the one before, that we send these signals out like flashing beacons to the universe. Your intuition is one of them when it comes to self-love. So mix the two. Mix the tools with the trust and the embodiment, because that will strengthen your trust in your intuition. That will connect you to the feminine flow behind self-love. That the embodiment of the self-love, and essentially the self-love is just trusting in yourself and knowing that you are worthy enough. And that is what following your intuition is allowing you to see, that you are worthy enough to listen to yourself. You are worthy enough to make moves and shed layers without having the evidence of how it's going to work out. You are entitled to do that, and you are worthy enough of doing that. I hope this is making sense. One of the biggest things when it comes to intuition, again, one of the other biggest things, and I feel like I keep saying is like the big thing, but this is why I feel like intuition is a superpower and it's so underrated, is because all of these things are you reclaiming your power, you connecting back to yourself, you connecting to that divine feminine part of yourself, that priestess archetype, which I'm going to go into. But harnessing the power of intuition and embodiment will deeply change your life. So this links to what I've just said about mixing the strategies, but understanding the power that comes in the embodiment of the work that you are doing, and the power that comes behind you when you begin to listen to yourself, when you begin to say yes to yourself, when you begin to follow the guidance of your intuition. That is going to propel you in ways you cannot imagine. Like, that is going to take you to next levels within your self-development, within your self-love journey, within your business, within your relationships, within your relationship with your body. Every aspect of your life, if you really, really harness that power and understand how intuition and embodiment can change your life, and then you bring the mindset tools into play, it's just a game changer for like growth and just a deep sense of self-love, which, you know, is my mission. That's the message that I want to spread. The last thing I want to say is take action in the moment and don't overthink it. And I have probably said that, but I want to reiterate this point, is please, when your intuition is guiding you, take action. Like, don't overthink it, because the fear will come in and suck the joy out of you moving. It will suck any trust that you have out of that moment. So for me, an example is like going back to that self-love. When that download came to me, it was 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. And as soon as it came to me, I picked my phone up. I went on my notes. I just free flowed on my notes about self-love. And basically my full mission statement came out, and it was super, super powerful what came out. Then I changed my Instagram bio. I changed my Instagram handle. I got rid of all of the highlights on my Instagram that didn't really feel aligned with self-love anymore. I just listened, made the move. So don't sit on it, because as soon as you do that, the ego will come in, the limiting beliefs will come in, and you'll just be like stuck in fear mode. And actually the whole point of listening to your intuition and the power that can give you will just be eradicated the more you sit and think about it. So if you feel a pull to investing in something, invest in it when you feel that pull. That is your intuition telling you that this is a program that you need. It's like I always say to women, you feel the pull towards the divine when it comes out. Women who come into my program, they know they have wanted to come into it for weeks or months. I hope it gave you some food for thought and some little nuggets for empowerment when it comes to listening to your intuition, because honestly, it is the greatest gift and the greatest superpower we have as women. And it just, the more and more I work with women, the more I'm realizing that they are so out of touch with their intuition, and they are so afraid to follow their intuition because of what I've said. We're made to feel like it's a little bit crazy, or we don't know what we're talking about if we do these things, but it's actually the opposite. Like, we are empowering ourselves. So I really hope you have enjoyed this podcast episode, and if you have enjoyed it, please screenshot, please leave me a 5-star review, like put a little comment in it, because the more that you do that, the more people I can impact with this podcast, and the more women can begin their journey of falling deeply in love with themselves. So you guys help me so much. I love you. I appreciate you. Please let me know what your biggest takeaways were on Instagram. Hit me up, and we can just spread this message far and wide and create a beautiful ripple effect of self-love. So I shall see you next week for another amazing episode. Speak to you all soon. I love you. Have a wonderful week.